folks, we have a lot of instruments to get out of the way, and during this first, not at all an intermission, we're going to invite some people up to tell some stories about the man that we all came here to remember, celebrate, trade stories on. I'm going to invite him up here because he's got to leave sight in a minute. Make some noise for my friend and yours for a nominal fee, the one and only Jim McKenzie. Come on.
Just a quick story I had to get us going, and if other people have stories, let Sick know, be prepared to be up here. I got started performing at Renaissance Festivals at TRF in '87. When I first did a promo for them, I met Malcolm Smith at the promo. Very first person I met out there was a wonderful being as well. And then fell in with Celtic Stone at the time, and Bob playing with them. And some of them are here as well. It's great to see. Excellent. After doing TRF, I found out about doing Dickens on the Strand, which I didn't know about at the time. And as you know, Texas weather can be iffy. And that first year at Dickens on the Strand, it was cold as hell. And Bob was there. I had just bought some gloves that I cut the fingers out of. And I didn't really need them for this, but Bob was there with no gloves at all, trying to play flute and penny whistle. So I gave him my gloves to play during their sets. That following year, I was flying Continental, and I was looking through a little Continental magazine that was on the airplanes. Go through. Brief intermission. And no, anything from Marco. I was thumbing through the Continental magazine. There's an ad for Dickens on the Strand. What do I see in the Continental magazine ad but Bob playing flute, wearing my gloves? So I told him about this story a few years ago when I was remembering it again. It comes around every once in a while, and I was telling him at a fair about this story, and at the end of the story he said, did I ever get those gloves back to you? And that was one of my favorite Bob stories. It was very sweet and simple. Glad to be there to help him out. It was joyous to know him as well, and I'm glad to be able to be here. Thank you very much, guys.
Did he ever get the gloves back?
I do not. We can never remember right now. And I really wasn't worried because they weren't designed to be fingerless, so I don't even know if they lasted the whole set there. They were unraveling. But they worked long enough. All right, thanks, Sick.
All right, I'll spit a story real quick while anyone else who wants to tell a story just get nearby. We got a lot of people who love this guy a whole lot. My first day on any Ren Fair site during a fair day, I had a little girlfriend. We moved a little camper over to Bob and Leslie's land. And her dad helped move the camper because I don't know how to drive a truck to this day. So this fifth wheel is getting parked. Her father is like this insanely strong, like bodybuilder strong. He actually beat up a great ape. If anyone knows who I'm talking about, Franny Brown should be here too, and so should he. But he's petrified of spiders. And this interaction between this alpha human being and Bob, a completely different, parallel, bizarre world, alpha in its own different spiritual way. The interaction was the most telling thing. I knew exactly what kind of band I was joining when her father said, man, I've seen another one of these spiders, I'm gonna whip out my gun and I'm gonna shoot it. And Bob just went, I would do that very differently. And I knew from that moment that no argument would last with that man. I loved him so much, and I miss him a lot all the time. And if anyone has any relics, I'm going to take a collection. I'm going to throw them into the Mississippi River in tradition in New Orleans. Love on Bob Bielefeld. Cheers to him. Come on, listen.
Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear me? All right. Thank you all for coming. Now, the first thing I gotta say is, Bob, if you're listening, look what you've done. Just a couple things I've gotta say thank you to Scarborough Fair. This collection of wonderful people could not happen, this memorial would not happen anywhere else on this earth. Thank you. Next time you see management, pat them on the back because we are indebted to them for this wonderful music tonight. On a different note, for anybody who loved Bob and would like to have a few of his ashes, I have some his ashes here, because I know a lot of people loved him dear enough that they might want to take a little Bob home with them. So if you do, come see me. Thank you so much for being here. This is truly a joyful noise. Thank you so much.
You want to jump in?
I'm just wondering if anybody knows about this squirrel.
The squirrel?
The squirrel. Martha knows about this squirrel.
Take it.
So, before I met Bob, about 3 weeks before I met Bob, is right before he got diagnosed with diabetes. And he was maybe not in his right mind. And, I mean, I haven't even met him yet. And he had this thing about this squirrel over here at the Taylor Lane stage, and he was pretty sure that that squirrel did not like the sound of his fife. Neither did I. Neither did Martha. Most of us didn't. And he swore that the squirrel was out to get him. And he said, he knows this story. He swore that this squirrel chased him from the Taylor Lane stage all the way back to that camp spot that he had over here like a mile and a half, throwing nuts at him, saying that that squirrel was out to get him because he didn't like the sound of his fife. And then he got he went into a coma and whatever happened, whatever. So a year goes by and he comes back the next year and he's got maybe himself under control, and he comes back and he says, that squirrel is still here. And it's out to get me.
Oh my goodness.
And that couldn't be true. A squirrel doesn't follow you for a mile and a half and throw nuts at you because your fife is so obnoxious. In tune and beautifully played, but
Really loud.
way up here. And if you have high-tuned ears, like I do, and Martha does, that you would just be like annoyed with that. And he sweared by it, even after he had regained his sanity. He was like, oh, that squirrel is still chasing me around today. And there's the whole folding paper story, but that's a different story.
Everybody got that one.
I was thinking about that.
So there was a potter, you may remember her, she worked in the pecan grove. The squirrel literally existed because she got together with Bob later, said the squirrel would throw nuts down onto her pottery and
Julia
break
Sutter?
it. Yeah, Julia Sutter. And so the squirrel did exist. It wasn't a figment, actually did exist and attacked Bob and Julia Sutter.
I've met that squirrel. At Bernie's breakfast one day, we're sitting around on a Monday, and there's a squirrel above us, and it was just dropping nuts down on everybody as they were eating breakfast. And it took a while to notice, but after about, I don't know, an hour or so, suddenly the squirrel fell out of the tree and landed in the middle of this people it had been dropping nuts on. And it stopped, it looked at everybody, and then it ran off, and we let it.
I've got a different story about a squirrel at Bernie's breakfast. So, squirrels, these happy little nut eaters. But this squirrel, we looked up at it. This is totally gruesome. This is not at all how I meant to start this little storytelling time. But this squirrel, oh, this is so gross. I really shouldn't tell you guys. This squirrel had
Tell it for Bob.
baby blue jay, and it was just eating the baby blue jay. I know, and we all stood under the tree going, they're not carnivores, are they? That's not possible, is it? Okay, now let's tell a Bob Bielefeld story.
This is about the time Bob Bielefeld actually destroyed a musical instrument.
So we were at the Michigan Renaissance Festival, and this would have been ages ago, so it probably would have been like
Late
No, I would guess like 86, 87. 87 or 88 even, but somewhere in there, somewhere in the 80s. And Bob has this great veneration of music, musical instruments, all that sort of stuff. We sort of inherited a really cheap guitar that was like something that you would like put on a wall. It was a mountain. It wasn't really a proper guitar at all. So we had a poker night, and we played the last round of poker on that guitar. And we said, this thing has just been sort of like taking up room in our van for some time. Let's get rid of it and get rid of it in a funny sort of way. And so we played the last hand of poker on top of that guitar. And Bob won that hand of poker. So it was his discretion as to how to get rid of that guitar.
And so he, well, it was all going to happen during one of our shows. And before one of the shows, I don't remember who was playing it.
I think I went out and I played, like, I was like, hey, here's a little bit of Greensleeves for you guys. And I was just playing, like, the worst version of Greensleeves. And from the back of the crowd, Bob was like, hey, that's not funny. I'm like, what? He's like, that's not funny. Greensleeves, it's an important song. It's a historic song. It's a nice song. You guys are trashing it. I can help you, though. I can help you. We're like, oh, okay, sir. Okay, well, come on up. Bob goes up there and he says, I think what the problem is that this little guitar is out of tune. And he takes the little guitar and he tweaks it and he tweaks it. And then he just goes all Pete Townsend on it and smashes the guitar. He goes, bam and bam and bam. And pieces the guitar flying everywhere. And the crowd, we thought the crowd would just be like, ha 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 ha.
Seemed funny to us.
Dead silence. Dead silence. And then Bob just sort of handed back, which was nothing but the neck and the string and a little bit of bits at the bottom. Like, I think that'll be better for you guys. And we were like, oh, that went pretty well. But management had a very stern talk with us.
We gotta love it. We gotta love it.
Bob, there you go.
Hello everybody, I'm Paula. I'm Leslie's sister, if you don't already know me. And Bob was my brother-in-law, but he was really much more like an older brother who I wanted to strangle occasionally because he was always treating me like a 12-year-old, but in a good way. I was actually much closer to him than I am to my own brother, who I don't want to strangle. But one of the things there's so many amazing stories about Bob, but I don't know how many of you know the wonderful bird stories about Bob, because, he was a flutist, so he's kind of a bird person, and he was a bird watcher, and he was a bird feeder, and that was like my job when I lived at their house, was to like feed fill 12 bird feeders or some ungodly, with like a bucket of birdseed every day. And he would make these really amazing bird feeders, which I don't know if you've ever seen any of them, but they involve like woks and silver platters, like all screwed together, and they're amazing. I have one. I'm cool. There are some many wonderful stories about him and the birds he had, Flash and Rollo, the wild starlings. That was so cool. And there are some wonderful stories about wild bird encounters. With fledgling phoebes who would land on his music stand at the barn in Sterling. And I think there's another one that I don't know the story very well, but it's about a somewhat injured hummingbird that sat in his hand for a little while until it kind of got itself together and flew off. But the one hummingbird story that I would like to share is after the fires in 2011. There was two of the worst fires in the country, and I was there staying at their land, and they were out of town. And there was this 320-degree radius of charred destruction all around their land. And grace of God and some really hard-working firefighters, we were all okay. But he calls me up and he says, the hummingbirds are coming. It's like September, it's a migration. Go get 4 or 5 feeders and fill them up and I'll pay you back, right? And I thought that was really cool, so I did, and I figured out the sugar-water ratio, and they showed up. And they all started swarming like creepy, creepy insects. And I was not filling the feeder fast enough, and one of them, you know how they body slam each other in this really beautiful, pretty bird, violent way with the wings that sound like the cards and like the spokes of it. So this very disturbing sort of whack. And one of them smacked me on the back of the shoulder. A wild animal hit me. And I think I turned around and said something like, "You little bastard." And then I did a cartoon of it because I'm an artist. And it was like, thank God hummingbirds have no teeth. So that was all about Bob. And so when I heard this song, I thought it was written for him. And it was actually written in the 20s. So I'm only going to do a little part of it because I'll probably break down and start weeping at some point. But when I just thought this was written for him. So it goes, I'm a little jazz bird, and I'm telling you to be one too. 'Cause a little jazz bird is in heaven when he's singing blue. I say it with regret, but you're out of date. You ain't heard nothing yet till you syncopate. When the going gets rough, you will find your troubles all have flown. If you warble your stuff like the moaning of a saxophone, just try my recipe, and I'm sure you'll agree that a little jazz bird is the only kind of bird to be. And a little jazz bird was what we had in Mr. B. Thank you very much. When you hear that song, think of him, because I always do. And ask the elders for the bird stories. They are myriad and really amazingly wonderful. I think Christy Potter's next. Or, oh, she's next. All right.
We're gonna have time for more stories later.
Okay.
We got a lot of people that love this guy. Keep it going, come on! So much music, so many stories. All on this land, which I know that Bob loved, all under this sky that he played to, all those squirrel stories. There was a bird. I've got a bird story later, but we're gonna get to that. That bird was an asshole. Bob was definitely the better man in their dynamic, just saying. All right, are we set? Bringing him up?
Yeah.
Where is he? Where's Andy Sklar? Come on now. Play some music for us. Keep it going. Come on, Andy Sklar, friends.
Plug in. Mark, need a
Hello, everyone. I have a brief story. I met Bob 10 years ago. Wow, 10 years ago at Sterling, which is where I originated, and I was just coming into what would be the start of this beautiful family and career, and Bob was on the end of his, and when I spoke to him the first time, he told me. When I spoke to him, he told me this. He said that he had just bought a house. They just put money down on the house in Arkansas, and they were slowly, like heralding that in. And that was just such an interesting thought to me, that here's a man who, this legend, this virtuoso, and has lived this adventure, and now he's coming home. And so I wrote this song for him. Me too.
Let's do it.
I wandered, far have I roamed. Many roads, many seasons have carried me from my home, seeking adventure out in the great unknown. Always captain of my course, but on my own. And I oft have cause to ponder as I journey ever yonder. Was I sage or fool to leave my homeland behind, and all of my kin and kind? How golden the meadow, how silver the stream, and how bright the visions of home would shine in my dreams. The sound of her laughter, the touch of my dearest friend, how they all disappeared around the bend. And I see my path is wending towards my journey's ending, as it circles around till on this ground I find I'm back amongst kin and kind. I've scars and I've stories, and each of them earned, and they've brought me here to this dearest lesson I've learned, that to chase your horizon and return to your hearth and home's not the same as having never left at all. And the memories are fonder, and the laughter's ever stronger, and it's ever warmer the fire, sweeter the wine, when shared amongst kin and kind. When shared amongst kin and kind.
Damn it. Go. Keep it going for Andy's Glare. Come on. We'll keep this train rolling. Where's Doc? Doc, where you at? Got one. Got more music coming up right now. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for bearing witness and for making the noise. We got a few more acts before the second round of stories. Give them a couple seconds. I was backstage at TRF. This is my maiden voyage, and Owen Fife was still with us, and I was getting to know all of these guys. Mind you, I joined a band that started in 1979, and I was born in 1981. All right, so I knew what I was getting into. But I also didn't expect this. It was like one of the most optimistic things I'd ever seen in any music industry. Owen is running full force. He just got some news. He's running backstage up to Bob. This girl, she's doing it. And I'm like, what the hell are these guys talking about? They were both so excited that someone was translating, getting their like master's degree and doing their thesis and translating the Cantiga's Santa Maria. And I'm like, they've been excited about this music longer than I've been alive. There's hope. There's absolute hope. So you just keep on chasing whatever dragon you want to, just like Bobby did all the way to the end. All right, you ready? You want a microphone to sing? All right, here we go. Give it up for Doc.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Doc, and it's Mr. Clark Ernick Traditionta. I am a harper of the Irish tradition. Thanks for that. And so, as such, in the history of the Irish harp, the harpers were said to have three varieties of melodies that they played. There were Gertrude, that was the melodies of joy, and Suintria, that was the melodies of sleep, and Goltria, that were the melodies of lamentation. My friends, I invite you to grieve. We must take a moment to acknowledge what we have lost. A man who taught so much of us, what a wonderful friend he was. And teacher, mentor, companion, just all around a good man. So to that end, to honor him, I will play this tune. This was composed by the harper Turlough O'Carlon, and it was the last tune that he composed. It's called Slán go Ceall, that is the farewell to music. And the story about this one is that when he felt that his end was near, he went to the house and the family, the McDermott Rowe family, that had taught him, that had arranged for him to get a harp and to take harp lessons when he would have been from the age of 18 when he was blinded by smallpox. And they had arranged for his harp training, and he had a successful career, known and loved throughout the length and breadth of Ireland by the end of his time. So he returned at last to the McDermott Rowe house, and he lay in his bed for a couple of weeks, but he asked for his harp to be brought to him, and he composed this song. So he was playing music right up to the end. Does that remind you of anyone we know?
Yeah.
This is Slán go Ceall. Great muffler. Thank you.
I am hypnotized. Everyone still there? Everyone still having a good time? Everyone fascinated? Everyone get to meditate and think about our boy Bob? More music, more music, more music, more music! Hey! Bob was never the most excitable person, but he was always happy to be everywhere. So I need you guys to keep them smiles and love on each other. And make some noise right now. Where is he? I don't even see him. There he is. We got some Ryan Lake. Come on.
Want me to say some stuff? Yeah, say some stuff.
I'll say some stuff. All right. The last record I made with Bob was with Jim Hancock, the Burley Minstrels. That's right. Jim and Bob and there's so many people who just keep on guiding people in the path. Martha, so many people who've just been like, if you do it in this order, everything works, everything will make sense, and just giving that to any amount of community. Like, I don't know whose idea it was to give me a microphone between everything. People usually are like, oh shit, Sick is gonna talk, he's gonna tell a story, this is gonna take ages. It was Alex's fault? It's Alex's fault. It's always Alex's fault. That's the point of today's event. Is thanks for the rain, Alex.
Shut the fuck up.
Working on it, working on it. I think that's my cue. Keep it up. Crank number 3. Give it up for Ryan Lake. Come on!
So I really love Bob. He was the only guy that I ever sought out to teach me music, actually. I used to trade him pop back in like 97 or 98 or something like that for music lessons. Hope he doesn't mind me saying. But that's what happened. Anyway, I figured out I couldn't really afford it, so I got all the CDs and I just sat home and played the whistle along with the CDs because it was cheaper. But, so anyway, we're going to play a song about pot called The Viper Song. let it be. When you vibrate, I'm not king, everything. Gotta get high before I can swing. Sky is high, so am I. When you the vibrate, when your mouth get dry, you know you're high. Everything is baby. Go down to the candy store and bust your chops on peppermint candy. Then you know your body's spent. Don't care if you don't pay no rent. Light and see, let it be. When you vibrate, everything is dandy. Go down to the candy store, bust your chops on peppermint candy. Then you know your body spins. Don't care, you don't pay no rent. Light and see, let it be. When you vibrate,
Keep it going, Ryan. He had a dream about a reefer that was 5 feet long. Come on up, get ready. Hey everyone, it's Miguel. Give it up for Dr. Joker. Come on, man. Now where's the Susanna sax? What we got? You bring her up.
Well, you can, but I'm going to sing a song first.
You're pretty good with a microphone. I'm out of here. Give it up for Doug.
Hey everybody, hi. So, it's been an interesting day. It's a day for like a wake, and it's a day for like a funeral, it's a day for like celebration. I've had people at my house vomiting and telling sweet stories all day. It's been fantastic. So I want to say something about Bob Bielefeld right now. He's the person I've known longer than anybody else at a Renaissance festival. When I first started, I was a jongleur. I was a madrigal singer. And Bob was the first person I met that I knew for the longest time. And he was in this beautiful little act that was so sweet and so beautiful. And one of the things I think about Bob Bielefeld that people don't realize is that in everything that he affected people with his brilliance of music, his ability to create harmonies and arrangements for people that would make them be happy and beautiful, was that Bob had a beautiful voice. Bob had a beautiful voice, and I was always envious of that. And whenever I sang, and we're going to sing a song now, we'll talk about something else later, I always thought about singing this. So this is a song that we would sing often in Pennsylvania, and it makes me think of Bob. And it's kind of become like an anthem for people that passed. And it's kind of weird that we're here tonight talking about Bob when, my God, my friends, so many of us have taken that other path. We're on that other side right now. So as we think of Bob and his beautiful music with this, I think we have a chance to think about all of us who've gone to another place. So, you know, my God, it hurts my soul. So anyway, I've been drinking.
No, you were such a nice guy.
I am such a nice guy. I've been doing other stuff, but anyway, so this is.
I want to also point out this was one of Bob's favorite songs.
This is one of Bob's favorite songs, and we sang this all the time. And he was a man who made me feel like I could sing it well. So if you know it, join in. When we start, Jim will help. When evening comes and people homeward tread, seek now your blanket and your feather bed. Home comes the rover, his journey's over. Yield up the nighttime to old John of dreams. Yield up the nighttime to old John of dreams. Across the hills the sun has gone astray. Tomorrow's cares are many dreams away. Oh, stars are flying, your candles dying. Yield up the darkness to old John of dreams. Yield up the darkness to old John of dreams. Both man and master in the night are one. Some things are equal when the day is
Choose, O John, a dream. Sleep is a river, flows on forever. And for your open, choose, O John, a dream. And for your boatman, choose, O John, a
So Bob Bielefeld, whose talent I think touched more people than all of us know. I'm seriously about this. Like all of his engagements and all the pub sayings and his effects upon groups like with Amanda or Iron Hill Vagabonds and all the groups that are here at the Renaissance Fair, he had a deep and a really deep effect on my people because he was like brilliant and genius. And one of the things he used to do at Sterling was that he helped, we have this pub scene at Sterling, it's very different, and we sing the same songs, kind of like Christmas. And at the end, our queen would come out and she does a monologue, and Bob would, for like 25 years, accompany this monologue. And this past year, he was given a little bit of a, I just want Suzanne, welcome Suzanne Sachs. She's the queen at Sterling. Let her tell the story.
Either one. Whichever one you want.
Oh, I want this one. Hi, everyone. Earlier in the day, on that particular, I think it was a Sunday, I believe Jim came up to me. I wish I knew if it was you. Someone, when you play the Queen somewhere, people are shooting things in your head all day long to remind you, would you mention this, would you say that, would you do this? And someone said to me, Bob, this is probably his last season here. And I went, what? This was right before the end of the day. And so I came out and I just said, hey, sometimes there are people in the background that you don't necessarily realize are standing there, but they've got your back and they've got your breath. And Bob would underscore the speech at the end of the day before we went into our final song, and along with other musicians too, but I could hear that sound floating through the air. And I called Bob up and said to everyone, this is one of those kind of silent people who would always have your back and your breath. And the whole place stood up. And it was it was really wonderful.
But Bob got a standing ovation at Sterling this past year because he always like, it's interesting too, like Bob used to do a bunch of tunes out there and they would like, Cantiga would like accompany plays and stuff like that. Bob would be like, hey, that actor's going pretty slow. I'm going to pick this up. Or he'd be doing the final speech of the day and Suzanne would be giving a speech. He'd be like, that's a little bit too maudlin. We're going to make this a little happier. So Bob, honestly, throughout the years, really had a big effect. And so he got a standing ovation. So we just wanted to share that song with you tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and you might know it, but this is the Sterling version.
This is our version of it.
Sorry.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne, for old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take
Bob Bielefeld, where fellowship we find, and though we traverse wide the world, our hearts remain behind. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet. For old lang syne, for lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet. For old lang syne. Here's the toast of Bob Bielefeld.
Wait, you got one more act and then you can tell a story.
And it's brutal. You ready for your next entertainment group to get up on this stage? We're gonna have some setup. This is something I think started out around this way, based on its title. So I was considered a weekend warrior when I'd come out here. I would get back to Austin, Texas as fast as possible sometimes so I could try and make some ends meet and play some extra music. But Bob was like, well, you just stay here and play music on Wednesdays and every day and Mondays and whatever. Just come on. It was wonderful, and just that attitude. I hope that he influenced you guys the way he did me, because he made me more polite, patient. What are you laughing about? Hey, fuck you too. No, I'm kidding. Humor. Getting closer, but we're gonna have Django with the junk. How many people familiar with Django with the junk? Absolutely right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's our
We're missing our lead singer.
Yeah, where's our lead singer? Yes.
What you need?
Okay, I'm actually not playing.
Yes.
All right, I'll do it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know any of these songs. Shut up, man. Bob's story?
Bob, quick.
You got a quickie? Sure you do.
All right, we mentioned. Somebody mentioned the pot thing. I think that's what it's called. Bob? And it's actually, I have to admit, it's been a while since I did any of that stuff. But Bob used to collect lighters from us. And one day we were up in the booth that they were staying in above Richard Tacker's booth, actually. And we were all having a little brewery session there. And one by one, they kind of just disappeared. And there's like 8-10 people in the circle at least. And at one point, somebody's like, well, you got a lighter? No, I can't find my lighter. Where's my lighter? And Leslie got this Bob and walked over to this drawer, pulled out the drawer, and there was like 100 lighters in there. And she handed one to everybody in the circle.
Maybe that's why he pissed off the squirrel. His nest was colorful.
So, with that, we would like to invite our lead singer up here,
There she is,
Miss
baby.
Leslie Taylor.
Come here.
Hi there.
This is just to be one time through this one. Start us.
And sing it with me.
And now
The purple dusk of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars shine, always reminding me that we're apart. You wandered down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now a stardust of yesterday. The music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spent the lonely night dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my memory, and I am once again with you when our love was new, and each distant inspiration. But that was long ago. Now my consolation is in the stardust of a song beside a garden wall where stars are bright. You are in my arms. The nightingale tells his fairy tale of paradise where roses grew. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain my stardust melody, the memory of love refrain. Funky Carmichael, everybody.
And now we would like to invite out. So when we used to call her Jen also. Still do. Jen Scott. Last fall, while Bob was came down to get ready for the Christmas season, which we always did together. The three of us were the Merry Minstrels, Christmas band, and Leslie had a job, so she had to stay up there. We recruited Amanda Kitchens to be Leslie, and Bob was down there for several of the gigs, and he passed during his time down there near TRF. And but just before, on his first visit down to prepare his land for his visit, he brought something that it's actually Thomas's idea, and Thomas said that he had heard that Jen also had her saxophone stolen like 10 years ago, and at some point Jen said, I'd love to get a saxophone again, but I really don't want to go to the jams and do all this transposing. And I've heard of this thing called the C melody saxophone. Well, Bob had 4 of them. Because that hoarder, he was not only a hoarder, but he was a flute player, and it plays just the same as a flute, except you got to blow into the reedy thing. And so anyway, Thomas and I and a couple other people got on the horn, and in less than 24 hours, we had more than Bob was asking for the saxophone, and enough to take it into the best sax repair person in Austin, and have it repaired, which didn't really need a lot of repair, but it needed, the pads seated and set up and all that, and get it playing again. And so now, Jen also will be playing Bob Bielefeld saxophone. No pressure there, no pressure.
Yeah, not at all. What are we playing first? Guys, there. Blue Sky.
Here it is.
Just as blue as I could be.
for the rest. I should fret if the worst looks like the best. I should mind if they say it can't be true. I should smile, that's exactly what I do. Everybody, blue skies, starting me. Nothing but blue skies do I see. This is a favorite of both Bob and Leslie's, and Rio likes this one a lot.
No.
I'm going to take a moment to tune, because Bob was very fond of tuning.
Now, one of my favorite sayings that Jerry Berry always used to say at one of the fairs I did was, "We tune because we care."
Which I've modified to, we tune because we can. Stars have disappeared from sight. There's no moon at all. Don't make a sound. It's so dark. Even fire is afraid to bark. What a perfect chance to part. There's no moon at all. Should we walk back the street?
Just to think we fell in love was no Just to think we fell in love, and there's no
Okay, we got two more, and then we're going to open the floor for stories. Just warning Christy there. Black Orchids.
Suck it up, Christy.
It's for a good cause.
time
should I have my way on this carnival day, or will I be alone with my Thank you, thank you. Now, Bob initiated the Monday night jazz sessions. They weren't always Monday nights, but Monday night worked best for our newcomer, the drummer Dick Sheridan. Yeah. Because, well, he's one of those craftspeople who like have to make stock all week. So Monday night was pretty much the only night he's available. And Bob and I and pretty much everybody agreed, well, then it's Monday night because we want to play with Dick. If you don't know Dick's story, he's got some books that he might want selling it or something. He has played with pretty much every jazzer that's ever lived that played jazz. Pretty much. Yeah. If anybody's ever heard of the Woody Harmon Orchestra?
Yeah.
He played with it.
Thundering Herd.
Yep. 1960 he was in that band. He's recorded with such unknown artists as Barbra Streisand. And, you know,
Bobby Short.
Bobby Short, he was Bobby Short's drummer. He was the house drummer at the Copa in New York. Yeah. So he's the real musician out here. I have a very short story about that, and that is that how many jam sessions, a lot of you are musicians and you've been at jam sessions, lots of jam sessions, a lot of us go to a lot of jam sessions. How many times have you been in a jam session and somebody said, hey, let's do this song, and you turn to the drummer and say, so how does that song go? That's the man right there. So we always ended our Monday night jazz sessions with this sweet little ditty. entertainers.
Jim Hancock.
Aaron Brunel. David, right? Steven.
Dick
He's a new guy.
Sheridan.
And of course, Jen also on Bob's saxophone. Tyler on his own guitar. Eric Goblin on the fiddle. And the leader of the band, Dick Sheridan. Thank you. We're gonna take a few minutes for some more stories. So if you got some stories, come rush the stage at this point.
Want to tell a story? Who's got a story? Let's line them up a little bit. Who's got about 3 stories? 3 stories. 1, 2. Check 1, 2. I want to rock, paper, scissors to see who tells the first story, because she was first. Oh, she called it.
want to follow me anyway.
I don't know. Okay, ladies first. Here we go. Here's Christy Potter with a Bob Bielefeld story. You guys still awake? That's a bullshit answer. Now wait a minute. All right, you're still awake. Make that energy happen for Christy Potter. Come on.
I'm not Christy, but I was. Okay, there's one person here who's known Bob longer than I have, and that's his brother. We started playing with Bob around 1975. We played for about 14 years. We did gigs. We're that sign there, Sun Garden Music. Doug talked about that sweet little group. It was Bob and Peggy playing recorders and me hanging around, hitting the drum occasionally. But one of the things that struck me in my memories is how Bob and Peggy, whenever we went to a new fair or gig, they would go to the local college and search the music department files and pick out music to play, and just totally dedicated. And another thing that struck me, from 75 to 89, he had an original group, Sun Garden, that was about a 7 or 8 piece fusion band. But then when he wanted to go on the road, he talked us into doing that, and it became a trio. So one of the things I noticed too is that in everything you're doing here, there's Bob, because he brought this all together. He started, from the first time we did a show, he would bring people together, and based around music, because if you played, he liked you. So anytime you're thinking about any of this stuff, Bob was there to start it. We started with the Musicians Rebel at Chicago Fair, and we went ahead and it's grown into this. Rio was there. But I do have a bird story too.
She's gonna kick your ass.
No, she lost me because I'm old. So we were having a really tough winter. Bob went through some pretty hard times when he played with us. We didn't get gigs all the time. And he got a gig down in Houston with some of his friends. And he came back, it was cold, it was February. He came back and he was really mad. And we had been assigned to take care of his bird. That he had taught to say things and whatnot. I don't know. It might have been. But we thought that we had let the bird out of the cage because we had to feed it and all. Well, no, the bird didn't get out of the cage. He was in the cage with a snake. With a big fat belly. Poor baby. He got another star.
Here was my story, which about Bob and birds. And Bob used to go steal baby birds out of the nest and bring them home and raise them up and teach them how to speak English. And he had Russell, this bird that Rio, Martha Gay, Bob Bielefeld, and Malcolm Smith one winter all lived together, and Rio taught the bird how to speak its own name. And the bird, and he, you know, smoking the pot. See? And he would go, "My name is Russell." So the bird would say, "My name is Russell." That was one of like 4 birds that I met that Russell, that Bob stole out of a nest somewhere, that he would just go steal birds out of the nest so he could have a pet bird.
Oh, didn't he kind of steal us all out of the nest every now and then? Keep it going, more stories.
Right.
Give it up! Give it up!
So, you know, everybody is so well aware of Bob's contributions to music and how generous a performer he was, and he graced one of my recordings along with Leslie on the little studio on Tabor Road. But Bob also was a problem solver. He could really figure things out, and I learned something from him being, you know, as many years as I camped near Bob and Leslie on both this run and the last run and the run before that. Bob had a penchant for really clean porta cans. He loved the super clean, just washed porta can. And you could often see him come out with a newspaper. And you know, wow, Bob goes into those porta cans to read the newspaper. Not at all. And these are words, this is news you can use.
I know it's a different.
He took strips of that newspaper to put into the reservoir before he used it, so that it didn't splash back up. He's like, you gotta break the surface, otherwise it splashes back up on your ass. News you can use from the one and only Bob Bielefeld.
My name is Eric Galvin, and I knew Bob for about 10 years, my entire time on the circuit out here. And Bob loved music, but Bob also loved to laugh. So naturally, Bob loved silly songs. The sillier, the better. And this is a song that my grandmother used to sing. It's the first silly song I ever really knew. And no one ever knew it, except, of course, Bob. So I'm going to sing it here for you and dedicate it to him. Passengers will please refrain from flushing toilets while the train is standing in the station. I love you. We encourage constipation while the train is in the station. Moonlight always makes your eyes so blue. If you have to pass some water, kindly call the Pullman porter to place a vessel in the vestibule. If the porter isn't there, then try the platform in the rear. The one in front is likely to be full. Passengers will please refrain from flushing toilets while the train is standing in the station. I love you. We encourage constipation while the train is in the station. Moonlight always makes your eyes so blue. If the ladies' room is taken, never feel the least forsaken. Never show a sign of sad defeat. Try the men's room in the hall, and if some fella has the call, he'll kindly relinquish to you his seat. Passengers will please refrain from flushing toilets while the train is standing in the station. I love you. We encourage constipation while the train is in the station. Moonlight always makes your eyes so blue.
So much talent, so much artistry, so much comedy, and so much joy, and so much life. And I think Bob should be here. You would love this whole party. Now we're going to bring this into the future. I need everyone's attention. This has probably never happened before. Future of Renaissance Festival technology. We got iPad. And DR, David Rowe, is piping in live from New Orleans to do a song for you over the internet through the sound system at the Jump right here, right now. The future!
Bringing folk.
Perfect!
You're freezing a little bit.
Why would it freeze? We're at a Renaissance Festival.
We need more volume.
Yeah, we need to crank him.
Are we ready?
We're waiting for Michael to get in place.
Me too.
Tell a story.
Tell a story? No, I have no stories I can tell off the internet. But I'm going to do this.
There you go.
Burn for Bob. You ready, Michael?
I'm ready, David.
The moment I start this, I'm turning it off and we're flying blind. Farewell, my friends, I'm bound for Canaan. I'm traveling through the wilderness. Your company has been delightful. You do not leave my mind distressed. I go away behind to leave you, perhaps never to meet again. But if we never have the pleasure, I hope we'll meet on Canaan's land. Farewell, my friend, I'm bound for Canaan. I'm traveling through the wilderness. Your company has been delightful. You do not leave my mind distressed. I go away behind to leave you, perhaps never to meet again. But if we never have the pleasure, I hope we'll meet on Canaan's land.
And that was the Bielefeld Men's Chorus. Thank you, DR.
David Rowe, a miracle of science, ladies and gentlemen. Hang up on it.
Would you like to watch for a while?
I'll see you back at the board, baby. All right, you guys ready for more show? Come on, don't we love Bob? Come on! I'm looking for Michael Marzella. Is he anywhere nearby? Because all the people in production. You ready? You ready to rock? Michael Marzella, ladies and gentlemen.
So, Michael and I, for years, have done this show at the Tampa Renaissance Festival, Bay Area, appropriately acronymed Bay Area Renaissance Festival. And we do the show we call Sing with the King. And he's the king.
I was.
And at some point during the show, I would turn to him and say, "So, Your Majesty, how fare you this day?"
Do you mean that as an earnest inquiry, or just a empty social pleasantry?
Well, as an earnest inquiry, of course, Your Majesty.
Oh, well, I have dandruff. I have hard of hearing. My hair's going gray. I get a crick in my neck sometimes. My eyesight's failing. I get the sniffles sometimes and a postnasal drip. I have a small case of periodontitis. Got the rotator cuff problems. Got the elbow arthritis. I got the water on the knee, and I got an old wound on my thigh that won't heal. And I've got flat feet, fallen arches, corns, calluses, bunions, blisters, and I got a rash.
Well, how's your gout?
The what?
Your gout.
Oh, I forgot about that. I have the gout.
Oh. All right.
But that's all.
That's all. Is that? Well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing better.
Everything else is fine.
Anyway, we would sing a bunch of old, actual Renaissance festival songs.
Actual songs from the Renaissance.
And this song is from the town of Helston on Furry, sung around this time of year.
The town of Helston in the south of England on May the 7th, which is coming up shortly. So we can sing the song somewhat in period. It's a song called Holland Toe. It's a folk song sung by the people of the village of Helston once a year on May the 7th. And the king, not the king, the mayor of the village dresses all up in a furry suit and goes dancing through the town, leading troops of people in and out of the houses and the businesses to bring in the spring and good fortune for the year. This is then a song, Holland Toe, which we are guessing is a reference to the heel and toe. Or if you want to make it a work song, it's Hall and Toe.
I'll go for the dance part.
I'll go for that too. So this is a dancing song, and it relates various characters that will be represented in the procession that will go through the town. This is Holland Toe, Jolly Lumbalo, or Jolly Rumbalo, depending on whose version you talk by. Holland Toe, Jolly Rumbalo. Welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May. Oh, summer is coming in and winter's gone away. Oh, Jake has gone to where the horn and was your crest when you were born. Your father's father wore it, and his father wore it too. Holland Toe, jolly old mellow, we were up long before the day. Welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May. For summer is coming in and winter's gone away. Robin Hood and Little John have both gone to the fair. Oh, and we shall to the merry green wood to hunt the bucking hare. Oh, Holland Toe, jolly old mellow, we were up long before the day. Welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May. Oh, summer is coming in and winter's gone away. Oh, what happened to the Spaniards who made so great a boast? Oh, they shall eat the feathered goose, and we shall eat the roast. Oh, Holland Toe, jolly Lumbalo, we were up long before the day. Welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May. For summer is coming in and winter's gone away.
God bless our good King Henry.
God grant him power and money. mingling all through the day and night. Oh, Harlan Toe, jolly bungalow, we were up long before the gale to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May. For summer isn't coming in and winter's gone away.
Your Majesty, I broke a string.
Oh no, was it a G string?
Sure.
Of course. Well, while we're waiting you to fix it.
Well, I don't have an extra with me, so why don't we just do Miss Kate Benoyer and
Miss Kate Benoyer.
Let's see if I can just.
This is an old song that my grandmother sang. My grandmother was a vaudevillian between 1912 and 1914, something more than 100 years ago. And she sang this song, among many others, which have been picked up as lyrical, what do you call it, song, dialect songs and the like from the period. It was kind of the songs that you find a jug band playing. Speaking of jug bands, it was the Hoosier Hotshots, my favorites, that Bob introduced me to. So this is a tribute to the Hoosier Hotshots and my grandmother, one of the two lady gentlewomen entertainers, as they were booked. This is a song from my grandmother. Anyway, here we go. Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. Thus sang a young man serenading his beloved beneath the window that night. But there was no response. Nothing. So, grasping his instrument more firmly, he stood closer to the window and sang thus. Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. No response. Nothing from the window. So, standing very close to the window and singing the more loudly, he thus replied, Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. Miss Kate Benoyer, oh Miss Kate Benoyer, my love for you will never die. Whereupon the shutters were thrown open, and a gray old head proffered itself there, and the old woman saying, young man below there, oh young man below there, singing so sweet on your old banjo. Young man below there, oh young man below there, Miss Kate Benoyer lives 4 doors below. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Always a great pleasure.
Thank you, lady. And thanks to my grandma.
It's Saturday night, somebody scream! Wednesday's fuck. Is everyone having a good time? Yeah! I hope that everybody here is getting their heart broken, put back together. So much more. There's still time for more stories. If we got one on deck, don't worry, we haven't forgot about you. Okay, just so you guys know, because people keep asking me. We're here, so we got all this talent still. That's great! What's your official title in this one? You're I believe he's stage manager tonight, helping everyone get on stage, get to the right microphones, strong arming me, making. He hasn't made sure I got too drunk, so I like him for that too. But it's time for Cherry Berry. No, it is not. Shut up, Sid. Tell a story or something.
All right. Okay, we're ready. Sounds good.
All right.
You guys ready?
I get to tell one of
Tell a story.
We got a Bob story.
Bob, come on, now.
So Bob was a very active dreamer and like fighting to be a lucid dreamer very often. And he came to me one morning when I was living with him on the property in TRF and said he had this dream about that he was a hummingbird trapped in a Walmart. And I can't do justice to Bob's imitation of what he showed, which was him going. And the whole time, everybody was trying to help him. It wasn't like somebody's trying to smash him with a tennis racket or something. Like everybody's trying to get Bob's hummingbird out of Walmart, and that's what we're fucking doing right now. When his body got too tired to hold the soul that he was, he's out of Walmart now.
I'm going to say a quick little something. One of the things Bob and I shared is we would collect those old vinyl records, right? So all these old stuff, Ink Spots and Who's Your Hot Shots and all kinds of cool old stuff. And when they would come, Leslie and Bob would come stay and put the camper in our yard and stay with us. And whenever they would, Bob would go out and he would go to the thrift stores and he'd find these treasures, right? These recorded, archival, just the weirdest stuff. And he'd bring it back to my place. And he'd give it to me and go, "You gotta listen to this, you gotta listen to this." And the thing is, Bob really wasn't considering my turntable when he was picking out the records. So a lot of them were kind of dirty and stuff. So what he didn't know is, after the first time this happened, I started, whenever I would change out my needle, I had a little bowl of old needles there that I would put on the record player whenever Bob would bring home one of those old treasures. And we would listen to these old records that neither of us had ever heard, most of it,
So basically he was just using to clean his records.
Now, you were sharing dirty needles with Bob.
Thank you, you hit the
Thank you.
So and it was all kinds of stuff, and a lot of it was he loved these old corny cowboy songs.
Bob, I know Jimbo back you all might not know that about Bob, but he loved these cowboy songs, and I'm gonna fuck up some harmony right now.
This isn't an old one though. But
this is a new one from Western Scruggs.
Let me tell you, buddy, there's a faster gun coming over yonder when tomorrow comes. Let me tell you, buddy, and it won't be long till you find yourself singing your last cowboy song. Yippee-ki-yay, when the roundup ends. Yippee-ki-yay, and the campfire dims. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. Yippee-ki-yay, when the roundup ends. Yippee-ki-yay, and the campfire dims. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings when a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. When they wrap my body in the bending sheet and they take
my 6 eyes, pull the boots from my feet. Unsaddle my pony, she'll be hitching the road. I'll be halfway to heaven under horsepower of my own. Yippee-ki-yay, when the roundup ends. Yippee-ki-yay, when the campfire dims. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings. When a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. Yippee-ki-yay, I'm glory bound. No more jingle jangle, I'll lay my guns down. Yippee-ki-yay, he shouts and he sings. When a cowboy trades his spurs for wings. When a cowboy trades his spurs for wings.
I'm not crying, I'm just sweaty.
Keep music stands nearby because we're doing All right, I'm weeping a little. That's beautiful. One more time, Jerry Barry Thomas. Come on, Jim Hancock on the booth. Your production team on stage. All right, things are lining up just right.
Hey, Jen, are you out there? I need a favor.
All right, I'm gonna jam too. Coming in hot, you know him as 1/3 of First Word Epic. You know him as 1/3 and the centerpiece of I Heart Soup. You know him for selling leather things to people in the sun on a weekend, saying it's gonna be great in this weather. You know him as the largest hair in that whole region of the fair, and you love him. Give it up for Ian Britt.
What's up, everybody? It's been a great night. We all love Bob, you know, it's amazing the amount of talent out here that's coming together to play for us. It's been really special. And, you know, first time I played with Bob was the Jazz Jams, and that was here, and it's been a real special thing for me for all the years I've been here. Hey, Jim was there, and everyone else was there, and it's been real fun to hear you guys play. And Six gonna play with us too, and we're gonna play a song. And I've got something in my brain, and I've got something driving me insane. and I've got visions in my veins, and I've got visions. It's you. I've got freedom to live this way. I've got freedom you. And I know you know the truth. You know the truth. You know the truth. It's you. And I know you know the truth. You know the truth. Thank you, everybody. That's all we got. It's been fun, buddy. Thank you.
Man, give it up for Uncle Ian here.
Beautiful night.
And now for something completely different. And this one takes a little bit of setup. Need every available music stand, because shit is about to get classical as F. That's right. We talked earlier about all the wingnut bands and all the records that Bob collected, and all of the joy that someone could take from some very strange, simple, unidentifiable American music. And it's time, once again, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Al Morrison and the Dorchestra back to the stage. Now, this is going to take a bit of setup, I believe. Getting close, getting close. What do you need?
Stand back there. Let's stand up.
More stuff. Anyone got a story?
I would like to tell a story of how this.
Would you like to hear a story on how this became a dorchestra? From the lips of Al Morrison to celebrate Bob Bielefeld? Come on, do you want to hear it? Are we still out there, congregation? Let me get amen. Sellouts. All right, here's Al Morrison.
My battery's dying.
Okay, I'm going to take just as long as it takes for us to set up the sets, places that we need to play, to tell you the story if you were not there when it happened. I wish I remembered exactly what year it was, but we were inspired by the Spank Fest at Nuevo Chile. Thank you, El Presidente. And Bob Bielefeld and I decided to write a string arrangement of a Hoosier Hot Shot song.
Bam! Hoosier Hot Shots. Favorite?
In order to give me a vehicle to reach out to every person that I ran into that played with a bowed instrument to come join us at Spankfest. And we did not get a chance to rehearse it before, and we just kind of played it through, and it was fun, and people loved it. So the next year, Bob and I worked on a different arrangement of Honeysuckle Rose. I will not bore you with all the details of how computer things go wrong, but we lost that arrangement. So this is the surviving arrangement of the collaborative craziness between our friend Bob Bielefeld and your friend Al Morrison, and all of these string players. And
You want me on the top line?
yeah.
Great.
And is this where I'm being and do this and okay.
Yeah, move the microphone closer to the thing so you can read and play.
Okay, so
You got this.
we're gonna play the intro once.
Where's the intro stuff?
And it stops there, and then we'll go back and forth. And honestly, you need to tell me how to, when to stop. Because I'm in front of you guys. And I'm going to pull out the slide whistle at one point.
Oh, when does it stop? Yeah, when does it We don't have that. We don't need that. Are you guys ready for some classical? Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, and would you like to count us off Let's do that intro again.
Yeah, awesome. Alright, I'm gonna play off. Count me off one more time, I got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. just like we practiced, just as if we practiced. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Morrison and the Dorchestra, and some of Bob Bielefeld's favorite old weirdo tunes. Super fun, arranged by Al and Bob.
What's next?
Stories!
Stories! Hey, who wants to tell a story?
It's now my job as the announcer to not talk if anyone wants to tell a story. Help me out.
I'll tell a story.
Get it.
I have another story about a man named Bob. Actually, several. And you'll have to ask me about the bird stories later. That's more personal.
We'll have a whole bird day.
Actually, I will tell one story. There were many random times that I would get a phone call from Bob and or Leslie when we were not in our regular places that we were habiting. And one of them was Bob and Leslie calling me to report to me that everyone in New Paris, Ohio that they ran into looked just like me, so that made them think they had to call me. One of the other ones was me calling them when I was camping in South Texas, and the red-winged blackbirds were all playing a Hoosier Hot Shot song. They were singing the Hoosier Hot Shot song, one of them. I will not play it, but actually this was when we had cell phones, because much of our story is pre-cell phone and then post-cell phone in the Renaissance Fair world. So it was kind of magical to actually call on the phone and say, listen to these red-winged blackbirds singing this Hoosier Hot Shot song, and it was agreed. And that's one of many stories. Do I need another story? You guys ready for setting up?
More stories.
Oh, so many more stories. Leslie's coming up with a story. Leslie!
Hi guys. I don't know if you've looked over here, but there are some pictures of Bob. And there's one with a gentleman putting his arm around Bob, and Bob's wearing this really cool Wage Piece t-shirt, which was one of his favorites. Anyway, that gentleman is Al Felch. And Al was one of his best friends from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when he used to live there long before he traveled. And he could not be here. But he wrote this poem in a letter that he sent to me, and I wanted to read it to you because I feel it kind of captures the way we feel. So here we go. In that deep place where you are now, one with the source of music, bathe your soul in the vibrations of feelings and sound, in the subtle expressions of the divine. You are a fine instrument in the hands of the muses, rehearsing for your next gig. May we be so blessed to enjoy your spirit, Bob, in another time or dimension. We are grateful for this life and the joy and honor of your company and your friendship and art. Farewell, Bob. Be well. May all love surround you and the pure light within you guide your way on. Alvin Felch. Thank you for letting me share that.
All right. Always time for stories because it's a Renaissance festival. I don't know who guys. Someone was saying that Rennies are talkative. I don't know where they got that from, but give it up right now. More fun, more music, more memories. Rita Cullen's band.
And so if anybody else would like to join us that plays in the morning as we greet today, that's how I played with Bob, was morning musicians all.
Who's got Sisu?
I do not have one. I left my gut call at home.
Sorry. Curtis Campbell.
Let us know. Okay.
This is a medley actually that Bob came up with. It's Nonsuch and the Scherzo Marsula. We played it in E minor, A minor, and then D major. I know that's crazy talk. And so anybody who wants to dance the Nonsuch or the Maltese Boho or any of those things, feel free to do that now.
Count it off.
Bob liked to call that last one the rustic duck dance.
That's what I call it. It's easier to sit.
That one took They'll be back too. All right, we're gonna do a quick story while we do a little set change. Give it up for Johnny, come on!
So there are two places in this world that I will always, always, always think of Bob. One of them a lot of people here are familiar with. That would be Lake Ontario, Nature Center, Sterling, New York. I think one or two of you have been there. The other one was a special place to me growing up. It was called Inks Lake State Park. And I recommended, Bob and Leslie were wanting to go camping, because you know, we don't get enough camping in our lives. So they wanted to go someplace really nice, and I said, you know what, I remember this place, it's where I grew up, it was lovely then, and they went, and I haven't been back since they've been there, but PSA, if you get the chance, Inks Lake State Park, it's near Georgetown. Go check it out. Think about it.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Here's another quickie.
Hi everyone. So I had the honor of knowing Bob literally pretty much my entire life. In fact, I can't remember not knowing him. For those who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Claus, or Rachel Claus, David Claus's daughter from Celtic Stone. Yes, but I don't have a specific story. I've been trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to share, but what I wanted to share is the feeling that Bob always gave me when I saw him, because he was someone who had a gift not only for music but for listening. And Bob always made sure that I felt heard and understood. And for that, I will always be thankful.
And with that, give it up!
Speaking of David Klaus, that's the proud father right there.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so rumor has it we used to play a lot of Renaissance festivals back in the day. But it's awful glad to be back here, and played with Bob many, many times. He was in a band with me called Celtic Stone. And I always treasured it. My secret to my success was always surrounding myself with folks that could play circles around me and would make me sound good. And so I did the same thing tonight, and got some great folks to back me up here. But the first one. This is a song for all of you. It always feels so great to be back here among friends, among family, and this is a song about that. It's surely been too long since I passed by here a while and played a little song. You've always been so good to me, made me feel at home, and anytime we're hanging out I'm feeling less alone. Welcome back, dearest friend. It's good to see your smiling face again. Welcome home, beloved one. Wherever you may roam, know you're not alone, and may your travels always guide your steps back home. Welcome back, dearest friend. It's good to hold you in my arms again. Welcome home, beloved one. Whenever we're apart, let peace find your heart, and may your travels always guide your steps back home. Here you go now. Sometimes I get so confused, lost in all half-remembered song. But the thing that I've been looking for has been there all along. Welcome back, dearest friend. It's good to see your smiling face again. Welcome home, beloved one. Wherever you may roam, know you're not alone, and may your travels always guide yourself back home. Welcome back, dearest friend. It's good to hold you in my arms again. Welcome home, beloved one. Whenever we're apart, let peace find your heart, and may your travels always guide you step back home. One more time now. Welcome back, dearest friends. It's good to see your smiling face again. Welcome home, beloved one. Wherever you may roam, know you're not alone, and may your travels always guide your steps back home. Welcome back, dearest friends. It's good to hold you in my arms again. Welcome home, beloved one. Whenever we're apart, let peace find your heart, and may your travels always guide your steps back home. May your travels always guide your steps back home. Oh, thank you, thank you. That was a song for all of you, and just so great to be back here among everybody. And this one's for Leslie and those of us that get left behind. It's called Deep in the Ground. Time to linger, put that ring upon your finger, sink your roots into this love you found deep in the ground. Why they call it settle down, new adventures all around, growing dreams from seeds we laid down deep in the ground. Joy and pain, we had our share. Changes but unprepared for the day our true love is found. Deep in the ground that swallows all your tears, sends you reeling through the years, scatters you in pieces all around on the ground. Our fun, yeah, we gave it quite a run, shared the buried treasure that we found deep in the ground. Now I wake up every day, lost and searching for the way, new life springing
thank you. Yeah, started to lose it there a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah. Send that one out to Maria. This is a song. One of the things I loved about Bob, and just he was, just a monster talent. What can you say? But I mean, he would play with anybody. He would play anything. He could play anything. It intimidated the hell out of me. But it didn't matter how good you were or anything. He just loved to play, and he took joy in that. And I just always tried to emulate that as much as I could, and just take that joy in playing music wherever you can with whoever's there, and just enjoy it for whatever it is.
Can I? Is Doug Konjolka still out here? Doug Konjolka, paging Doug Konjolka.
I was telling this story so he had time to get up here.
But he's probably distracted somewhere.
All right. Well, if you're out there, you can head towards the stage and help us sing this next song. Actually, I never played this song on guitar with Bob, so we'll see how this goes.
Could be interesting.
Could be interesting.
I don't think I've ever played it on bass, so this will be fun.
All right. But we're going to give it a try. Please sing along if you recognize this.
Come to an end, and it's time to say so long, my friend. I hope you can feel that the meaning is real when we promise to meet once again. Be a rich man or poor man, a fool or a sure man, gathered our hands and we made a merry stand. People, they come and they go. It's the nature of things, I suppose. One thing's for certain, the night is a curtain where the moon of our memory grows. So bring on the starlight, make everything end right. A dream's just a memory that grows. And the fair time was our time, a dream time to share time. The fair time was a fine time to know. Again. So bring on the starlight, make everything end right. A dream's just a memory that grows. And the fair time was our time, a dream time to share time. The fair time was a fine time to know. Yes, the fair time was a fine time to know.
Aging Dr. Sick.
And up next is a fabulous act I'm sure you'll enjoy very much as soon as we figure out who it is. Oh no, it's Maya! 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 My good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm good. All right. We are done. We are done. Jamal Muhammad, give it up, man. Amanda.
I bet you this, you find some, the first one's kind of slow, but the second one's, that's some good.
Jake's
Okay, Jake's picking up play. Just going forward. Okay, unmute this real quick.
Yo, Jake.
That was beautiful, David. So beautiful. Hi, everybody. What a beautiful, beautiful celebration of Bob's life. Such an honor to be up here, and I'd known Bob since I was 12, and I'm 35 today. Thank you. And yeah, he always was so encouraging of my music, and he recorded on several projects of mine, and thank you, Bob.
He was on your first project, wasn't he?
He was on my first project.
Which was done when she was 13 at the Sterling Renaissance Festival, called Eager to Live.
That's right, and it was on a cassette tape, if that... capo. Actually, I think it's an old fangled capo.
That's Jerry Barry's capo.
Jerry Barry. I'm putting it on back.
Actually, it's Jerry Barry's favorite capo. It's my capo.
Sure. Please.
Hey, while we're getting Jamal back up here to play with us, I want to mention a little story about my Archodi here. And she's heard this story before. When she was recording that first album that Bob was on, the agreement was it was going to be a short album. She could do 5 songs that she'd written herself. She was going to play guitar and sing, and then she could pick one person from the stable of musicians that we had to be on each cut. And she picked Bob for one, and I can't remember, a bunch of other people got picked. And then she said, all right, well, we're going to record this song, but you have to play guitar on it, Jim. And I said, no, our agreement is that you're going to play guitar. And this is how I knew that Maya was a real musician. She had it in her, because she said, well, I'm pretty sure this song has a B minor chord, and I don't know how to play a B minor chord. And she sang it for me, and I went, yeah, it's got a B minor chord. Okay, I'll play guitar for this one. But next time, you're going to play it.
Thank you, Jim.
Taught her a B minor chord.
He's got my back. I just want to say, too, I just want to interject. I think it's freaky because I actually met all 3 of these people my second year at Kerrville around 2005. Yeah, Uncle Jim was working at Staff Records with me. And Sick was playing with the Asylum Street Spankers, and Maya was 18 and just freaking came out on the scene with her amazing voice, powerhouse.
And just to finish that story, I want to say this next song is in the key of B minor.
Of course, I am still faking because I have a capo. Nothing.
best thing I know is sitting on your knee. I'm crazy if my walls red, but I slept in a cold shed instead. I'm crazy if my walls red, but I slept in a cold bed instead. I'm crazy if my walls red, but I slept in a cold shed instead. I'm crazy if my walls red, but I slept in a cold bed
Thank you guys. And Maya ain't going anywhere because she's gonna sing some songs with me.
Awesome. Oh man.
You singing, right? We're gonna keep Maya on the stage. We're gonna pass the center focus over to the one, the only, you know her, you love her, despite everything you know about her and love about her, Amanda Kitchens!
By the way, Amanda Kitchens has an album out that Dr. Sick produced.
She sang on it.
And she sang on it.
Yes.
So-
And you were there? And you were there?
I took all of her money. I took every dime I could from Amanda Kitchens.
Pretty much all my money.
don't
I think technically Eldridge took all my money.
Elvis took a lot of my money after that.
That's right.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
You gotta pay for
Tell you what, let me do these. I'll give you all that money back. Sounds fun.
All right, let's have a car wash.
Let's have a car wash.
Well, actually, Sick was the one that named the record, technically. It was a line from the song we're about to do. If this is love, kill me now. True stories about real events that really happened.
Oh yeah, this is the one that makes me cry all the time anyway, so we're screwed. So go with it.
Kind of a double whammy.
Walking on the streets alone, I raised my eyes, cried out to God. This is love, kill me now. I don't know if my heart could truly stand no more. I walked into the room, I found myself a pretty tune to lay. There were flowers all around. I fell into the bed itself. Here
for sick on the fiddle there. You pinned me to the bed, slowly kissed my forehead and the poor fool crashing along, I've let it take me, never sailed back home I knew that I was lost the first day that our paths had crossed again. And since we're not allowed, my heart to strength to keep from laying down beside you. Thank you. How about that band, right? Those angel harmonies. We always leave the high falsetto for sick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't actually prepare anything specifically for today. I knew I was ready to play some music with Cantiga and all my friends here. However it happened, I think Martha's approach was, very similar in a way, and it just and also Jim. When Jim texted me, because I was kind of like, oh, how's it going to happen? He's like, oh, well, it's more like, I'm less directing and more like herding cats. And that's pretty much how it's been, but it's been a beautiful cat herding. And you guys are all very beautiful cats. And I think Bob would be very happy that we were celebrating together and making music in his name and celebrating, I mean, what an amazing man. And it's such an honor to be with you guys and to be making music with my friends here in the name of Bob.
Alright, here's a song about some real dark shit.
I'm just gonna play He locked his baby up inside, better take a little ride through his sick and twisted mind, bit down hard straight to the right. Since that she took offense, fed her still that consequence, masticated as she cried, strapped her in to take another ride. His track is circular, less and less familiar. How she longed to jump the fence straight to the left and take a little rinse. They keep on going round, feet may never hit the ground. Children cry and break the sound. Looks like home is never to be found. Wrapping up his cheap side, blacking off and goofing five, casting out her little flames, call them all the proper names. Names of how they took offense, fed him fresh, great confidence. Spent forward as he wolfed it down. She looked back, her smile looked like a frown. This track is circular, less and less familiar. How she longed to jump the fence straight to the left and take a
circular, less and less familiar. How she loves to jump and sprint to the lake, take a little rest, keep on going round. Feet may never hit the ground, children cry and paper sound. Looks like home is never to be found. It's dark and spectacular, circular, familiar. How she loves to jump and sprint to the lake, take a little rest, keep on going round. Feet may never hit the ground, children cry and paper sound. Looks like home is never to be found. Yeah, looks like home is never to be found.
Thanks, guys. Everybody buy my birthday shot.
Birthday shot. I did not do that.
Alex!
All right. What's next? It's your turn, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the clinger's on. The last one's left. We're still going strong with the one, the only. He's got a smile so potent, you wanna crush it up and sniff it. He's single. He's a Scorpio. I don't know if either of those are true. Jim Hancock.
Hey, you know, I had like 27 songs figured out. But, hey, mute this for a second so I can stretch it back to big guy side. Oops, sorry. Hey, why are those people leaving?
I was just following them.
Hey, we're going to do a song off of...
Man, Jim plays with literally everyone at this site at the same time.
So
I want to hear some solos, so I gotta smoke a cigarette. When's the last time you heard just Jim? Come on, man. This is one of the biggest pieces of glue that this circuit has. Give it up for Jim goddamn Hancock forever. Thank you for everything. And a testament to Bob and you and all the people that invite us around, all that music you just heard. We wouldn't be sitting at the same campground if it wasn't for men like this, like Bob, and like all you being such a great community. Your turn.
Okay, I'm going to do one song by myself then, unless other people... You can play on it, and then... This is in the key of F. We're going to do a slightly different song, and then we're going to do that song. Because he told me to do one by myself, but I'm not going to do it by myself. This is a Hoosier Hotshot song. And it's called This Is the Chorus. Now Bob sang the melody on this, and I usually sang a harmony, so this could be interesting. It's a song with a chorus. I got the melody. I want to tell you, it's a song with a chorus, but as Bob would like to say, it's in Latin, so sing along. I hope I remember all the words. Actually, most of the words are fa and la. And we spend more time in La La Land than anywhere else. It goes something like this. Fa la la, fa la 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 la, fa la la la, fa la 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 la. This is the chorus of the song. This is the chorus you're hearing now. Fa la 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 la, fa la 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 la. The man who wrote this song was deaf, he couldn't hear it out. This is the verse. I thought it was the chorus. This is the verse. Oh, it's the verse. But he knew all the rules, and so he knows why he wrote the first verse. The first verse. The man who wrote the lyrics was as crazy as a loon. So there's nothing to this song but the tune. This is the chorus from the song. This is the chorus you're hearing now. You make up the words as you go along, 'cause no one listens to the lyrics anymore. Tra la la, tra la la, dum-dee-dum, dum-dee-dum. If you want to, you can whistle or hum. When you're singing this song to your friends, just remember this is where the chorus ends. La 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 la. This song's written bit by bit. There's nothing to show where each bit fits. Where each bit fits. word, with every note, you're bound to see which one's with which fits with which. Oh, well, here and there, the writer left a place to take a breath, so the singer won't choke to death. Oh, here's the chorus once again. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, with sealing wax. Oh, rooster is different from have you ever sharpened pencils with an axe? Try a file. Tra-la-la-la-la-la. I had a sweet, but she didn't marry me. Here's the part that everybody recommends. That's because it comes where the chorus ends. That's because it comes where the chorus ends. And now something from the last album that Bob and I, we had put out 2 albums as the Burley Minstrels. Pardon me. And the first album was recorded during my residency as artist in residence at the Disney Institute, which means I did 2 nights and they gave me a hotel room. And but we recorded it, and then we did some live stuff in a studio. It was all live, and it was recorded basically in 2 days and mixed in 1 and then mastered out. This next one took us over 8 years because Bob considered it his legacy. And he basically said, we're going to get this right, and we're going to take our time, we're going to do it. And there's some tracks on there where he, like his whistle part or his flute part, he would go over and over. He would put a tuner on the stand and he would watch as he played. And he would go and he would say, and let's take, okay, now we're going to do those 3 notes over again.
Didn't know it was a flute. It's never going to be a
Well, he's the only guy I know who could play one of those things in tune, especially a penny whistle.
Yeah, I know.
And he had a really expensive penny whistle, and he said even that didn't play it in tune. And he had to learn to play it in tune. And some of those tracks, there's take 147 of the flute part. Now, this track we recorded in Rio's living room down in Toontown in Nuevo Chile, and we recorded it live. The instrumentals were recorded completely live. And it was, I mean, Alejandro was there, Sick was there, Bob, of course, Jake was there, and we did it, like I said, we did it live, and it was the most, it is, if you should, I mean, I'm not meaning to like brag or ask you to buy the album, but it's an amazing instrumental piece.
It really is.
But it's really a round written by Moondog. What's his
Moondog. He was like a blind beat poet.
I know Moondog. I'm trying to remember his real name. Something hard.
Fuck his real name. That's Moondog. What's my real name? Shut up.
Because I had to find it so I could pay for it.
No. Bob talked about this song for
It's actually a really tough song to sing, and I'm going to.
And it's also a history lesson. I mean, it's based on historical fiction. I mean, fact. It's a historical fact that Nero's expedition up the Nile failed.
He worked on one note with me.
Had climbed the river, denying Nero's vessel passage
for a whole
through the Suit of Nubia.
Are you saying they're going to learn something?
I hope they sing along. It's a round.
I love it. It's a great tune.
All right, teach your neighbors.
So we're gonna jam. Yay! Leslie's
Of course, Leslie's up here.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna jam on it for like 2 or 3 passes. We're gonna sing it in unison so you can all learn it. Then we're gonna jam on it just a little longer, and then we're gonna sing it as a round.
Okay.
I'll take the first part.
2 times in unison.
2 times in unison.
It's a long form. 2 times in unison. So once it repeats, fucking pay attention. It's gonna be on the midterms.
And then we're gonna jam it. Like I said, we're gonna jam a little longer. Then we're gonna sing it as a round. I'll take part 1. What are you gonna do? Amanda, did you decide you're on 2 or 3?
I'll take 2.
Take 3. Okay. So
I'll take 2.
Well, you're gonna take your odd part, which comes in a different spot. So I'll take 1. You'll take the
shotgun.
There we go. And then you'll take 3. And then everybody else just kind of pick a part and sing along.
If someone doesn't start singing something, I got it.
your butt.
Nero's expedition on the Nile failed because the water hyacinth had clogged the river, denying Nero's vessel passage through the suit of Nubia. One more time. Nero's expedition on the Nile failed because the water hyacinth had clogged the river, denying Nero's vessel passage through the suit of Nubia. Hero's expedition on the Nile failed because the water hyacinths had crossed the river, denying Nero's because the water hyacinths had crossed the river, denying expedition of the Nile
How do they do it? Why do they do it?
Why doesn't somebody stop them?
How you feel?
All right, we have time. I think we're going to do one more song, and it's a masked song of 300 million people.
We were going to do a set of Bulgarian stuff.
Oh, you were? All right, let's have a little set of Bulgarian stuff from Rondas and Amanda and Sid, and then we'll do one last song.
And Alex, if he's...
Yeah, Alex, you want to play music? Come here.
Somebody corral Alex Korolov back there.
I will take this moment while we're arranging a little bit to mention that after tonight's musical sing-along tribute to Bob Bielefeld, there's also going to be a slideshow. We got this thing set up right here, so if you want to see some old memories and get it out one last time and stare at them before you get tuckered or drunk or needed, that's happening. Also, I want to get his name right. The song earlier was co-written by Arthur Rowan, the one by Andy. Cannot remember his name. Yes, Andy Sklar and Arthur Rowan. He wanted to throw it out there. That was a co-write, and it was all about our boy Bob. All love. So wish he could be here. Getting close. What do we call this? We're gonna play the Seti Donka.
Yeah, whoa. D first?
This is a dance song. If you know anything about music, most dance songs are in 4/4, 6/8, and then there's the waltz. That's like the 3/4 one. This one's in 25. Take it and like it.
It's a dance song.
That's a pretty fast.
That's like one.
Thanks, guys. Funny thing, Ramdas and I learned that song a while ago out of this Pine Woods International book. It's a great resource of songs from all over the world that ended up in America. And I was really tickled to find a copy of Seti Donka in Bob's repertoire. And it was a song we just shared in common, and how random, because we just flipped through and picked it out of a book. And Bob already knew it. Now we're going to do another song from Bulgaria. This one's called Ganki no Oro.
11.
Good old-fashioned 11. Feel free to dance. special thanks to Jake Cooper, who was able to get Ramdas a ride because he has a dentist appointment tomorrow, so he was able to make it today.
Hey, I want to give a kind of a whole round of people to thank. I want to thank Matt Young for helping me set up yesterday. I want to thank Marcus for putting up this tarp up here and loaning us the tarp so that we didn't get rained off the stage. I want to thank Mark Govan for running sound tonight. I want to thank Rio Blue for letting us hang out in his front porch here. They'll have faith. I want to thank, of course, Dr. Sick for hosting. Oh, there, that guy right there. I love this man.
It was an honor.
And let's see now. Was there anybody I missed? Oh, I want to thank Marshall Davis for putting on the lights there. We've been doing that thing for like 15 years now, and I never get tired of it.
Invention of lights. The gag is old as time, or as old as electricity.
As soon as they had a switch, that joke was in.
All right. I'm sure there are people I missed, but really, mostly, I want to thank Leslie Tabor for coming down here from Arkansas.
Love you so much, baby. Love you so much, baby.
I'm not sure if everybody met Bob's brother Bill. There he is. Hi, Bill. He came down from Kansas City. People flew in from as far as like Delaware and Minnesota and all kinds of things. Florida.
Cancun.
That's right, he was just in Cancun. Yeah, shut up. And I want to thank all these musicians and that shared their talents and their songs and their dedication, all because we want to thank Bob for being in our lives and continuing to be in our lives.
This is a hard one, guys. This is really.
Who should join us on this?
There are a bunch. Yeah, Mark, you should come up and sing on this one too.
There are many of you who should join us on this song.
He's good. You'll know this song. It's Matt knows the song. Everybody knows the song.
Matt knows the song. I know for sure.
I've heard a bunch of versions of this song, but Bob took it and he put a special set of chords to it, which are not just your basic 1 and 5 that most everyone does. And Owen Fife took it and he changed the key on it, but he basically used Bob's chords, and he made a very, very beautiful thing out of that. So thank you, Owen. Now everyone does it because it's the Bob version and it's the best version.
You all know it. Sing it.
Friends and companions, come join me in rhyme. Come lift up your voices in chorus with mine. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here again. So here's a health to the company, and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry, all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here again. Well, here's a health to the wee lass that I so well. For style and for beauty there none can excel. She smiles on my countenance as she sits on my knee. Sure there's no one on earth who's as happy as me. So here's a health to the company and one to my last. Let us drink and be merry all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all brief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here again. Everybody play! I wish her safe landing without any shock. And if ever we meet again, by land or by sea, sure I'm always remembering your kindness to me. So here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all brief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here again. My footsteps may falter, my wit it might fail, my course may be challenged by November's gale. But if fortune shall prove to be friend or be foe, you will always be with me wherever I go. So here's a health to the company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all brief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here again. One more for Bob! So here's a health to the burly company and one to my lass. Let us drink and be merry all out of one glass. Let us drink and be merry, all grief to refrain. For we may and might never all meet here
again. Thank you. Hey, I got a couple more thanks that came to me while we were singing that. I want to thank Steve Wiles for helping with some of the technical things here. I want to thank Steve Kossor for flying all the way down from Pennsylvania to videotape this and live stream it for the people out there that wanted to be part of it. And I want to thank the owners and management of Scarborough Fair. They've been having all kinds of changes to their security rules because of liability and all that sort of thing. And they basically broke their own rules by letting us have this. We may never get to do another one like this. I hope we don't have a reason to. But it's just amazing, and we honor them and thank them, and we're going to do a really good job of cleaning up after ourselves. Please, please, please. And thank you all for coming out and singing with us and clapping for us and listening, and bless you all. As we like to say here at the Junk, thank you, and have a safe walk home. There's one more thing. I want to thank Joni because she made this really good slideshow that we couldn't see when it was daylight. So while we're doing a little bit of tearing down and stuff like that, feel free to watch these wonderful slides of our good friend Bob. Thank you so much.